What can we erase? Done. Done. Done.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You crazy mother.
What is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson. Welcome back to another episode of BurnDown. So, I should say tonight's episode because it is Saturday night. I spent the whole day, I don't know if you've seen back there, I can just show you real quick, but I prepped, primered, and based the Cups for Kids cups. So thank you to anybody that is on here that ordered one. I'm getting those things done. We'll start airbrushing them this week. With that being said, I don't have a lot of time this weekend because I'm busy doing that kind of stuff. As you can see, we got a new project that I need to be working on this week, get rolling on this guy. So that leaves the weekend. There's not a lot of time in the weekend to get a lot of stuff done in your car. So I'm going to start tonight. So it's Saturday night. We're going to start with the fuel system, and I will kind of go over that with you guys. But basically, we just need to drop the fuel cell down, and I want to add a shutoff so I can actually service the filter. And I got a bigger pre-filter, and then we got a new pump. So we got a bunch of stuff to install. But I want to get started tonight, so that way hopefully by tomorrow we can button it up. I have a thing to go to with my wife in the morning, so that only leaves me the afternoon, and I don't feel like that's enough time to accomplish what we need to do. So, other than that, I got the CAN bus cable for the Holley digital dash, so maybe we can, before we get all carried away and take everything apart, we can plug it in and just turn it on and see, make sure this thing works, because I did buy it secondhand. And then over there, which I'll have to go dig out, I've got a 5/8 tubing bender because the dash 10 feed line, and I bent the one that was in the car by hand, and it's like this big sweeping radius. So every time you go to bend it, it would just kink because it's real thin wall. So I have the proper bender, so when we put everything down underneath the car this time, we'll be able to bend it up however we need. And hopefully I can quit buying those big giant benders because they don't give those things away. The little one that goes for like brakes all the way to like normal, like dash 6, or cheap, they're like a dime a dozen. Then when you go to 1/2 inch, 5/8, I don't even know if I want to go bigger than 5/8. Hopefully I won't ever need a tubing bender bigger than that. But we got our bases covered, so I'm going to open the garage. We'll move the car over. Maybe we can plug this in real quick just to see if it fires up and kind of ooh and ah, and then hopefully get to work. Ta-da! Alright, let me get some lights, and then I opted against rolling around to plug the Holley dash in. Tonight we can do that tomorrow when there's light and I'm not fumbling, and I just want to get this done and go back inside because obviously probably never see me this bundled up. It's kind of cold. Not as bad as what a lot of you guys are facing, but I am a sissy because I live in Southern California, so it's like 50 something. It's probably t-shirt weather for some of you guys. It's like 50, 60, I don't know, 50. Anyway, it's cold. Can't see your breath yet, but it's still cold for me. Get some lights out. I'm gonna get cracking. All right, bear with me, guys. I know this is not a great low light camera, but this is essentially the fuel setup I put in here originally. I put it on these little risers because I didn't really want to punch holes in the floor. Obviously, we're well past that point. And this has a sump, so I brought it up so the sump would still kind of function and whatnot. Anyway, the problem I have now is I can't service this or that filter because there's no way to shut this off. You can see this big sweeping bend because I didn't have a tubing bender for this. Is dash 10, and now I do. It'll make a nicer bend. So the plan is take all this out, take this thing off of the riser, just bolt it straight to the floor because I already have the hole. This goes all the way through the floor. And then cut a hole for the sump. So the sump actually sticks down past the floor, and then all of this stuff will be on the bottom of the car. And then the other reason I'd like to do that is I'd like to move the battery here at some point. That's a want, not really a need, but it will end up there. So I'd like to get this out of the trunk when the battery is there, because it seemed like a really poor idea to have my fuel system going right into my battery. ignition and a fire source in the same spot, not really a great idea. Granted, yeah, I know I've got wires and everything else here, but in the case of an accident or something, if that thing were to spark or whatever, I just want stuff kind of protected. So all right, we got all this room for activity. So these are the risers that we had it on. We can ditch those, and then I made marks right here. So this is where the sump is, and I'll just go get a measurement on how deep it goes. So we'll just cut it. Looks like that's already see-through anyway. So we'll just cut it across, cut it back, then fold this down so that way the sump comes through. And then we should hopefully be able to stick it right back on the same holes it was on and be rock and roll. So we got the fuel drained, and then I know I have another cap like this in my bag of shame, so we're gonna put it on there just so I don't get crud inside of it. And while we're at it, might as well grab this. This is the new pre-filter. We'll have to open it up, but I think it's a pretty coarse filter, so that'll be the new pre-filter. Instead of this guy, we will have this guy. So we'll actually have some real filtering going on. And then I will look in here. Oh, here's my other magical item in this bag, aside for some fittings. Ta-da! So we have a -8 or 10. I don't know what size it is. Maybe it's 10. Petcock. So that way this can go before this guy, and I can shut off the fuel flow. That way I could service my filter, wherever the filter is, it's over there somewhere, and then turn it back on when we're ready to roll. So we got the hole, and then I made it larger because this isn't really below the floor like it is, but it's not 100%. And then I made it bigger so you can get wrenches or whatever to take stuff off. I figure if need be, I'll make a little cover plate. But yeah, this will allow me to bend the tubing down so it doesn't mess with this section of the floor. But we are bolted flat to the floor now. You can see how much shorter we are, so I'll just bend these down and connect these lines. These are all bolted down. We'll get those connected up, and I think we will call it a night. And then what I'll do tomorrow, when it's sunny in daytime, we can roll around underneath and figure out the setup for the fuel pump. So
Day 2.
So here we go. We are back at it. Day 2 on the fuel system on the Maliboom. As far as last night, obviously, cut a hole, mounted the thing down. Now we got to try to plumb it. It is like midday. The sun is at least out. So we'll throw a blanket down, open the trunk up, get rolling on this thing. Hopefully we can get it plumbed by the end of the day. That is the goal. So what we're going to do, this is my post filter, and trying to blow through it, it's still kind of plugged, so we're gonna have to clean this really good before we put it back in, but I can still cut it in right now, not a big deal. This is a pre-filter, it's brand new, so we'll plumb this in. And then this is my old 625, and then up here somewhere, I think this is it. This is the new one. So essentially the same thing, a little bit bigger, same body, same deal. So there we go. This is the new guy, this is the old guy. This should be 750. So 625, 750. So what we'll do is we'll just take the fittings off of here, stick them on here, and then we'll mount this guy up and wrap this one up in the thing. Let me transfer that over, and then we'll start picking locations for things. Then we'll get cracking on bending some tubing. Alright, so this is basically the fuel system in a nutshell. Pump, pre-filter, post-filter, off to the party. So before I had it going through a bulkhead right here. So maybe we could just pick this up over here somewhere. Obviously I've got enough room and then bring it over and then down here, and then I can connect them here somehow. So then that leaves me running all of this stuff over here somehow. So we can come out of here, turn, mount everything up over here. Bumper. No, it's frame. So maybe we can get off onto the frame somehow. That'd be kind of sweet from here to the frame. And then that way. All right, I have been at it way too long. And I don't know if it's just me, you guys leave a comment, but it seems like you always pick the absolute worst spot. You're like, this has to go, where's, oh, that's not terrible, that's not, oh, this is horrible. Like, I can't even barely get to it. Let's put it there. So that's where the fuel pump ended up. So it's all mounted. It's mounted to the frame. I should hopefully be able to get a bend right here. Terrible spot, right? And then we've got from here to here to fit the rest of this junk. So yeah, let me decide where that's gonna go, if there's enough room, and then we will keep rolling. But man, what a waste of a day. This has just gotten ridiculous. Mounting this pump was ridiculous. Drilled the holes through the frame, had to beat the frame to get it to tuck in there. It's in there, it's nice and safe and everything now, but man, it's probably gonna be noisy as I'll get out too now that it's all laying on the frame. Things would be annoying, but as long as it works. Huh, oh man, I am still hard at it. Of course it's Sunday, and there's a million ways to skin a cat, but your ways are limited when your fitting selection is limited. So I ended up being one fitting short, which of course is wonderful. On a Sunday evening, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get it. So we got a little change of plans. I think I've got it figured out for the most part on how I'm gonna do it. And now that that chewed up a billion hours worth of time, I'm just gonna turn the camera off and plumb as much stuff as I can, kind of as quickly as possible before you lose all daylight and all hope. That's it. I'd like this thing to run tonight so I can put it back where it goes, so I can actually work on this card tomorrow. So yeah, it's gonna be a long one. I'll bring you guys back when I actually have something to show you. But yeah, let me show you where we got so far, and then I'll show you what we ended up doing. So the pump mounted. This ended up screwing into here. I've got an O-ring, so this should seal up. So we've got the pump to the filter, and then this should come around and plug into this guy. This is actually just a tiny bit higher. They're about level, maybe a little bit higher than the sump, which I'm a little bummed on, but the forward inertia will push the fuel back in here, and then that's why I have it mounted sideways instead of facing vertical, is to keep the fuel in the pump. So it'll come into it, go into the pump, and the pump will push it out. If I mounted my pump this way, like say I put the pump over here, if you're wondering why I didn't do that, the forward inertia wants to suck the fuel out of it. So if the fuel has to make a curve and go that way, just with gravity alone, obviously it's not going to happen. So that's why we take it, mount it this direction, or at least I do. I wish it was a little bit lower, but I'm happy with it. So I'll mount this to the shutoff to here, and then we'll come with the sweeper this way, because now this is pressure side, and I will mount this guy somewhere over here, and then we'll plug it into that line, and then we should hopefully be good. All right, it is completely dark. I've got my helper out here. What are you doing?
Fixing my car.
You're fixing your car too? Is yours broke too?
Yes.
Okay, be careful with that wrench, okay? All right, it is completely dark. Let me show you what we got. We got one set of fuel lines done. I've got the secondary, so the post fuel filter mounted. Now I just have to run lines to that, and then we got to power the pump, and then we can try it. I'd like to put it back under some power tonight, because I got to work on this bad boy tomorrow. Wish I had his energy. Okay, let's go check it out. Yeah, check it out. All right, so out of the fuel cell, here's my shut off. That's off, on, into the pump. It comes up just a little bit, but I think it's gonna be okay. It's not a really big rise or nothing. And this is damn near level. It's mainly the floor's in the way. If I have any sort of issue, I'm just gonna cut this floor out and it should be a straight shot. And then I put this on here to test fit, so the bend works out. It doesn't hit anything. It's close to that bolt, but we can kind of give it a little bend down from there, so it'll come out.
And I got like this with the hook.
Yep. So it'll turn, go along the frame, and then we've got this guy mounted. At some point I need to box this in. So I'll just bring it and then we'll just do a long slight curve. So yeah, I think we should be we should be good.
Right there, Dad?
Yeah, mark it where we need to cut it.
Right there?
Wherever you think.
I think right here. Alright.
Just put no, further back. Right in line with the end of it. Right in line with the end of this. Make a mark on this piece, on the tube.
This way?
Yep, right where we need to cut it, make a mark. Draw it. Make a line. Bam! Good job, dude. We had some roadblocks and bumps, but we are pretty much wrapped up. So the power wire, it pretty much fit. I didn't have to extend it, which didn't show up a lot of time. We'll see how it lays in the car and everything later on. And then I just had to make a ground cable for the pump. But that is it, everything is in place, other than my filter is down here and it is in goop. And it was plugged when I went to clean it the first time. Regular like carburetor cleaner wouldn't work. So I used electrical contact cleaner and that cleaned it out. Well, when I pulled it out, before I reassembled this thing, I was trying to blow through that thing and it just seems like it's hard to blow through, like it should be easy, and it's not. So that is some nasty goop. That is what I use to clean my guns and all my stuff. So we'll rinse that off really well, blow it all out, probably rinse some E85, put an E85 in it, and really rinse it out before we stick it back in the car. But I want to see if that kind of cleans out the filter. So I have minimal fuel. So if it'll run on the fuel that I have in there, which is probably less than a gallon, maybe a gallon, we are good. That means it's getting good transfer and everything. Obviously, we're not going to race with 1 gallon in there, but if it'll start and I can turn it back around and put it where it goes, I'm going to be a very happy camper. Give you a quick look. So the power wire still runs through. Then I put a grommet. I'm going to have to fix this and tie that down better. But we are done for tonight. And then up underneath, we've got fuel petcock, which is on. I put like the 3 gallons of gas I had in it in here. Runs around. Wire comes through. Ground's in the same spot. Through here, filter. And then up to a joint up there. So we are good. The only other thing too that's crazy with that filter is I cleaned it out, blew it all out, used some high, compressed air loosely, because you don't want to get all over aggressive because you can really blow the mesh out. And then I blew through it and it was cool. Like the thing was actually a lot better. I was like, oh, cool. So I rinsed it off some E85 to put it all back together, just to make sure all the crap was off it after I rinsed with water first and then with the 85. And then when I blew on it again, it was plugged up again. So I was like, huh. So I cleaned it out again with the high pressure air, got it all clean. You blow through it. So whatever is in it, as soon as it hits the E85, it just turns to like this jello whatever, and it is just stuck on that mesh. So I think that filter, because it's stainless, it shouldn't do that. Whatever it is just stuck between the weaves. So I'm just gonna get another filter, hopefully the same size or whatever. We'll just cross that bridge when we get there, but it'll be clean enough to run right now. So everything is good. We're gonna cycle the key, see if we can start it, check for leaks, put this thing away. Right. If that wasn't a long weekend, a short weekend, short amount of time, all done in the evenings because I'm super busy. But we got that far. I am excited. We'll have to consult the list. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm tired. I have to clean all this crap up. Tomorrow's another day. We gotta get after it. We gotta work. Lots of Cups for Kids stuff going down this week. I didn't get onto the Holly stuff. We will at some point. I still have to make a mount and all kinds of stuff, and I am running out of time. But if you guys like this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends, neighbors, Tell everybody. Remember to subscribe too, by the way. A lot of you guys watch this, you're not subscribed. Just double check. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Find out. I'm out.